Pakistan is in a very difficult position. Why? Because you don't know where your enemy is. The recipe, I would say, is negotiation. I think the security establishment, they are not publicly saying anything about the negotiation, but they would like. They don't expect Afghan Taliban to take action against the TTP. There is a distrust, and because of this distrust, now things are very difficult. They want to use the TTP as a proxy against Pakistan.
Hello and welcome to DawnNews English. I'm Nadia Naqi with you. We have Mr. Tahir Khan, a renowned journalist who, is very good with the security matters, with the terrorism. And today we're discussing with Mr. Khan the recent terrorist activities, and they seem to increase as we're moving ahead. So there may be some reason. Is it just the TTP that is trying to react and retaliate? Or are there foreign elements also involved in this new spree of terrorism?
In fact, there are foreigners because even the recent attack in Mirali, security sources, because now they have also some social media accounts, and when the security establishment or the army, if they don't want officially to say something, so they now use social media. There was one of the attackers, he was Afghan. There is possibility because now the foreigners' involvement, now not only in Pakistan but in Afghanistan also. If we just have briefly, when I say that the recent attacks in Afghanistan, even on the Pakistani ambassador in Kabul and Hizb Islami chief Hikmatyar and Russian embassy. In majority cases in Afghanistan, foreigners were involved because the foreigners now they get visa for Afghanistan in some countries and then they come. So in Pakistan also, now because Pakistan publicly also said, I still remember when there was a big attack in Job in Balochistan a few months ago. So Pakistan said publicly, the Foreign Office said 3 attackers, because there were total 5 attackers and 3 were Afghans. And the Foreign Office formally has asked the Afghan embassy in Islamabad to take the bodies, but they did not. So there is possibility that now, because the TTP and Afghan Taliban, they have a background. The past, everyone knows that the TTP still has a allegiance to the Taliban Amir, Taliban chief. So, and they fought together against the Americans and the NATO forces in Afghanistan for 20 years. So you cannot rule out the involvement of the foreign elements, Afghans, in these attacks.
Mr. Tahir, what I would like to first, before we move on to the relation between Pakistan and Afghanistan, especially after these recent attacks and of course the statements made by our Prime Minister, I want to know that how do you see the decision of bringing some of the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan back, as Khwaja Asif, the Federal Minister for Defense, has been now saying on record that it was Mr. Khan's government and it was General Retired Bajwa, General Retired Fej who knew what was happening, and they were the people who brought this TTP back because they thought that bringing them back will actually help things get normalized. Do you think this decision has been, very taxing on Pakistan?
The repatriation or the return of the TTP elements to Pakistan was on the agenda when negotiations started, and Imran Khan, when he confirmed that his government is talking with the TTP, so this was on agenda, that if there is a progress, then these people could be brought back from Afghanistan. So it was part of the discussion. But the talks could not make any headway, and there were differences on the condition from the TTP and also from the Pakistani side. So the talks failed. But I would say this is not true, that if the current government target Imran Khan for this, because this was not Imran Khan decision. And I will refer the defense minister another statement recently when he was saying that he and other minister would be called to the ISI mess, and they would tell them, they would give them some suggestion what to do. So this is a tradition in Pakistan. Their security establishment has a role and security issues. So this is not new. And this is very unfortunate that now for political gains, political scoring, Khwaja Asif or other minister would target Imran Khan only for this. Yes, there is no doubt that negotiation with the TTP was a controversial issue, but this was not the first time. You would know that in 2014, the Nawaz Sharif government started negotiation with the TTP when the TTP was in Waziristan, and the delegation would go and they would meet. There were some political leader, religious leader, and there were other agreements even in South Waziristan. Shaka agreement is very famous when the corps commander was there. And the FATA at that time, so officials were there. There were agreements in Sawar, there were agreements in Malakand. Negotiation agreement is not a new thing. And I think this was not Imran Khan's decision. This was the state decision. And I will also tell one thing. When the PDM government took over, so they also held at least one round with the TTP in July. And I was also there that time in Kabul because we were covering the Taliban's 2 years. And so they also said, but later the state decided that there would be no talks. There would no negotiation. We will go for war, for fighting. And that policy still continues. So that was state decision. It was not a one-person decision. And when you talk to militants, to armed groups, so you would recall when there were negotiations between the Afghan Taliban and the Americans. The Afghan Taliban the first demand was to release 5,000 of their fighters, and they were released. Although the Kabul government was not part of the Qatar negotiation. So this in negotiation, these things happen. So you cannot blame one political leader for this, just for political differences.
Point scoring. Okay, so Tahir, what exactly is happening? You have so many groups that are fighting our army in Balochistan, and at the same time you've got this TTP in a form of monster that keeps on fighting the Pakistan army. Just the recent attacks, if we talk about the one in Mir Ali, what happened in Gwadar. And all of these events, it makes you, what should be the recipe then in order to overcome this menace?
There's also one new attack when we are talking today with you. So there was also attack on the Pakistani security forces convoy, which was coming from Tank district to Tahir Khan. And there was suicide bombing and there were some casualties. So the recipe, I would say, is negotiation. Although this is very difficult for a journalist to speak about negotiation, but if you continue fighting these groups for 20 years more, you will have to sit. Now, Pakistan is in a very difficult position. Why? Because you don't know where your enemy is. In the past, when you were holding talks, you would know that they are in North Waziristan. You would know that they are in Sawat. You would know that they are in South Waziristan. So you would go, you would talk to them. But now they are not here. Yes, they come for attacks, like you mentioned the attack in Mir Ali, which was very big attack, and you mentioned Gwadar, which was also an attack, although it was frustrated. And I think the security establishment, they are not publicly saying anything about the negotiation, but they would like. There could be some sort of, but they don't want this like publicly like in the past. But they would also expect that Afghanistan, because Afghanistan hosted the negotiation. So although that was a very difficult decision for the Taliban government to host Pakistan and the TTP, when I met the Taliban, the Afghan Interior Minister, Sirajuddin Haqqani, in July 2022, and the negotiation was not ended that time. So he was telling me that when war ended in Afghanistan, so there was a general thinking within the Taliban leadership that the violence in Pakistan should also end. Then that's why they offered their facilitation, their help to Pakistan.
Right.
That there should be a negotiation. And Pakistan agreed to that suggestion by the Taliban government. And that was, I think, their role. They cannot force. I have always been saying in the Pakistani media they don't expect Afghan Taliban to take action against the TTP. And I said this 2 years ago, and I am saying this now, and I think this is now everyone knows this, that this thing happened. Because why the Pakistani Foreign Ministry statement says that there are certain elements within the ruling, within the Afghan Taliban, that they want to use they want to use the TTP as a proxy against Pakistan. This is the first time the Pakistani Foreign Office or the Pakistani government officially said this, and this is true. And now the TTP is happy. The TTP is happy because now the TTP would be having an opportunity, and they will. Our policy may be pushing the TTP more closer to the Afghan Taliban.
In that case, Tahir, which means that our relation with Afghanistan are not going to be normal, and they're going to be more tense relations. The repatriation that Pakistan had done of the Afghans, and you would be surprised that I met somebody in down south in Karachi yesterday. And, he was saying that, we will all be sent back once again after Ramadan. So I said, what do you mean by once again? He said that we were already there, like we were sent back, but now we're back for this holy month, and now we're going to be back again after Eid. And I was like, what kind of a policy is this? Either we decide to repatriate them or we decide to call them.
I think when the caretaker government announced the policy, there was a phase Y policy, and I think the second phase is coming. And
Okay.
the second, yes, I have spoken to the official here in Islamabad even yesterday. And the next phase is of those who hold Afghan citizen card, ACC. And the second, it will begin in April. So this is the decision, and I don't think there would be change in this decision, because this decision was taken in the National Security Committee meeting during the caretaker government. So this will be going on. And yes, this possibility, people can come and go. And Pakistan itself said that those who can get the Pakistani visa, those Afghans, they can come. And I have heard here in Islamabad that Pakistan may be considering an option to allow also Afghans to come and get visa on arrival. This is also because now Afghans, this may be a possibility. But yes, if they have passport, they can come like other people. So this is another
What
issue.
about the
But
relations between Pakistan and Afghanistan? How tense are they? Are you
Yes.
looking at it that they're getting now?
there is no doubt relationship is under pressure. And after the Pakistani strikes and retaliation by the Taliban government, now the relationship is not very good. And there was, I would mention one thing here. Before these strikes, there were high-level contacts in few days. Pakistani Sharjah affairs in Kabul, he traveled to Kandahar to meet Mullah Shireen. Mullah Shireen is the Kandahar governor and very close to the Taliban chief. And he came here in January. And the Afghan foreign minister, Amir Khan Muttaqi, he spoke to Isagdar. And he was invited. Isagdar was invited, and there were also some other meetings. And there was a hope that due to those interaction over the past few days, there could be some sort of improvement in the relation. And I have also heard in Islamabad that when Mullah Shireen came to Pakistan in January and he met security officials and the then caretaker foreign minister, Pakistan has got some assurances that there would be a change in spring and also in summer. Means there would be reduction in violence. Because in summer or spring, the movement in border is started. So the TTP and other groups, people can come easily to Pakistan because they know from where they can enter Pakistan. But in winter, this is difficult. But I think all these recent interaction and these promises, the airstrike, I think it has damaged the environment. So let's see, because it is Pakistan policy to use that option. But personally, I think it cannot solve the problem. Airstrike cannot, because it creates more, I would say, it tends the environment more. And we cannot now ask the Afghan Taliban to help. So because now we are using force and they are retaliating.
Pakistan has been asking for this help since the time there was the fall of, when the US forces had withdrawn. And we were looking at Afghanistan in this manner that, at least we would have no issues now as far as RAW is concerned, NDS is concerned, and, how Pakistan was being pushed against the wall. But despite this, we see that Afghan Taliban are not helping in terms of TTP. Either we should have done some sort of accord in Doha separately with regards to TTP, and we didn't do that. So I think, there is sort of distrust on both ends, both sides now.
Yes, there is a distrust. And because of this distrust now, things are very difficult. Because in the past, Pakistan has been saying that there should be no blame game. But now this blame game continues. Pakistan would, after the Taliban takeover in August 2021, Pakistan was like advocate, a defender of the Taliban, and Pakistan has been asking the world community to engage the Taliban, to engage with the Taliban, don't forget them, unfreeze their assets like this. But now, Pakistan has been asking the UN Security Council meeting, a UN General Assembly, an international forum, to put pressure on the Afghan Taliban, to take action against the Pakistani Taliban, and to investigate how the TTP has been getting the money and these weapons, these resources. So everything is changed. So
and this is the question. This is a genuine question, at least in my head also. How is it that TTP is getting such a sort of, arms and ammunition to fight the Pakistan army?
This is also a very serious challenge for Pakistan, how to deal with these latest weapons. TTP, I think, is now well trained, and manpower has never been an issue. Like yesterday in Gwadar, the Baloch group used 8 people to attack the facility, but they failed to do some harm. So the problem is the TTP, Afghanistan is now they don't have any pressure. They can easily get everything, training, weapons, and American have left a huge weapons, small. So and also you can get from the black market. And the money is no problem for the TTP or other groups. So this is very easy for them. And that's why Pakistan has been asking the UN Security Council recently, Pakistani envoy in the UN, he asked one of the session on Afghanistan, he was demanding that there should be investigation. But the problem is Pakistan demands, Pakistan voices, no one is focusing on this. And now the Americans are telling Pakistan to do yourself. Solve your problem with the Taliban yourself. They are not interfering. They are not even trying to reconcile.
This is our own problem, and we need to sort it out.
This is our own problem, yes. But this problem we have got after the 9/11 attack, and when we joined the American, we became the American allies, and we gave them our bases to attack the Taliban previous government. So we were part of the American allies. So that's why we are suffering. Americans have gone, they are now safe, and we are facing, yes, this you are right, I agree with you. And I support this idea that we should solve our problem. But you would know when in 2017, there was a big attack in Kabul, a truck attack and many casualties. So the Chinese foreign minister went to Afghanistan, he came here, and there was a reconciliation efforts by China, because Chinese know that without reconciliation, good relation between Pakistan and the Taliban government or Afghanistan, Chinese investment would be in trouble. Chinese, maybe if there are political motives also, they will be in trouble. And the region will be in trouble. The region will be in trouble. And this is very unfortunate that even today, the Taliban delegation is in Uzbekistan. And they are talking about connectivity, about rail projects, and now Afghans are focusing on Chabahar. They have left already your Karachi port. So this is a very, and China is now directly connected with the Taliban. So Russia is very now close to with the Taliban, embassy with the Taliban, China an embassy with the Taliban. Why we are now, we are in a reverse gear. This is the policymakers who have a major role in Afghanistan. They should do. Why? Where we stand now?
Then I think we leave it at this. Where do we stand now? Should we, revisit the policy? Why is it that we are in reverse gear? As you put it, Tahir, that we are in reverse gear, whereas other countries are getting more close to Afghanistan in terms of, having trade relations, connectivities, and Pakistan is still, asking
And
for
one thing, if you allow me, please.
Yes.
We have now almost ended our space in Afghanistan. And when you end your space, you allow others to fill that space. And that's why the Indian Special Envoy for Afghanistan, JP Singh, last week went to Kabul, and he not only met the Afghan official, Taliban official, but also the traders. And now even the Taliban government is investing in Chabahar. And this is good. We cannot object what the Taliban are doing. But India doesn't like Taliban. But when the Indians think that the Pakistanis are now out of Afghanistan, are going to be out of Afghanistan, they are involved in conflict, so why should they don't take advantage? That's why the Indian diplomats of Ashraf Ghani era all have gone. The embassies almost now closed. They are functioning, but you can say they are functioning on the direction of the Taliban, from Kabul to New Delhi. So this is also our policymakers should think why we have ended our space to others.
Yes, and this is going, well, I hope not, but this can be of a lot of problem when it comes to India taking that space in Afghanistan. It becomes problems for Pakistan. But as you put it, Tahir, to revisit the policy, I think we've been hearing this from all sorts of security analysts and those who understand Afghanistan, like yourself, that it's time to revisit the policy. It's time to also, you say that, hold negotiations, because there is no other way to go about it. We can't just keep on fighting because at the end of the day, there is no result out of it. Well, let's see what's going to happen. Thank you so much, Tahir, for your time on 20 Minutes. Goodbye.